Hi, welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about books. I'm so excited. As I said, today we're talking about books. I'm very much out of my reading slump, finally. I've been in a weird, I know that this for some people isn't a slump, but I'd only read like 14 books this year, which is very little for me. And I challenged myself to read 80 books this year, and I'm like still 30 something books behind schedule, but I'm gonna try to get to 80 from now to December, so wish me luck. I found that I still read a little bit, but it just took me so long. I didn't feel like reading most days. It wasn't like I really want to get back to my book kind of feeling. Even though I tried to start a few books and a few things that would make me want to read it more, I just didn't feel like reading. Reading just really felt like a chore, and like I had to be doing it and I wasn't doing it, and I felt guilty because I was supposed to be reading, because I had said that I'd be reading 80 books this year, but I wasn't going to manage to because I wasn't reading. But all of this like worry and guilt and like stress was not making me want to read more. And I kind of went, you know what? It is an arbitrary thing that I set myself. It's a challenge. So if I don't live up to it, I still have next year and the year after that, and it's okay. And then the other day, I was like, you know what? I really feel like reading, like listening to an audiobook. And so I started listening to an audiobook. I finished it like the day after. Then I started another one. I finished it the day after. And now I started another one. So I feel like I'm out of the slump because I'm like excited about reading and I want to read. And I was excited about like picking out what books I want to take for my little getaway that I'm going on. And I'm just announcing it. I'm out of my slump. I'm very excited. In this video, I wanted to kind of like tell you what books I've read this far, because I haven't done like a roundup because there was nothing to round up. So I wanted to tell you like kind of what I've been reading this year so far and what I'm going to be taking on holiday to read with me. I think that when this video goes up, I'm going to be on holiday. Books that I really wanted to talk about are Far From You, because this was our Foggy book club read of August, September. So as you can tell, I annotated it. If you don't know, I have Foggy Book Club is a book club that I do, that I host on this channel. We pick out books and like people can just send in their suggestions, and I put them all in a little thingy. I put them all into this little thingy, and then I take out 4 and we vote on those for each month that we're doing the book club. One of the reasons I suggested this was because there's a disabled character. I saw in some kind of blog post or whatever that this featured a disabled character, and it was like a murder mystery, so I was like, representation and murder mystery, sign me up. It's actually really badly marketed as a murder mystery. The murder mystery plot is very much like a secondary background story plot type of situation, whereas this book I think is more about the character development and the relationships and somebody really coming to terms with their relationship with somebody who died, and like understanding that they had good things and bad things, and kind of growing into that and growing as a person and overcoming like trauma and grief. I think like mostly grief is like the plot is the thing. The main character is also a drug addict, so there's definitely a trigger warning for that. Basically, the reason that she is a drug addict is because she was addicted to pain meds from her accident that made her disabled. And it's really annoying because it's actually a very, very small percentage of people who experience that situation actually go on to becoming addicts. It's really, I think, damaging to use that trope, because people who are reading this and who aren't chronic pain patients probably won't be able to see past that. They'll just like take that in as in like, oh, okay, so yeah, another story where the disabled character is a drug abuser because obviously they took too many pain meds. So that's what happens when you take too many pain meds. And like that's just something that is really, we're working really hard to combat that kind of thinking, and it's just like kind of damaging to me, in my opinion. I also didn't really love the way that the character spoke about her disability in the beginning, but I did at the end of the book, like when I finished it, I did realize that that was part of the story, as in I felt like she didn't love herself very much and she didn't really like who she was. Things happen and time goes on, and she starts to learn to accept that and to kind of understand that that's just who she is and what her body does, and that that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, and that, you know, being disabled is okay. So I feel like it kind of, we got there in the end, and it was like part of the narrative of our character, and like herself, that like the fact that she just really hated herself, because I felt like it wasn't just the disability thing that she spoke badly of about herself. Like she spoke badly about herself about a lot of things. There's also like LGBTQ representation, the main character and the murder character both. While I was reading it, I was not enjoying it because I think Zeus wants to come into this room. Yeah, my boyfriend turned on the vacuum, so. Okay, here we go. While I was reading it, I was kind of annoyed that, like, why aren't they talking about the murder plot? Like, why are we so focused on their relationship? Like, I don't care about this relationship. Like, I want to know more about the plot. And then when I got to the end of the book, I realized this book's not about the murder plot. And when I realized that and I look back at what I'd read, I realized, like, okay, yeah, I think I didn't enjoy it while I was reading it because I thought I was reading something else. I was looking for something else. I think if I went back and read it again, knowing what I was going into, I probably would enjoy it a lot more. In other, like, disabled representation news, get a life, Chloe Brown. What do you think, sis? So this was a great read. It's very steamy, so it's a romance and it's very steamy, but the representation, like, first of all, she has the exact illness I have. She has fibromyalgia, so like that's just spot on. She's also like really similar to me, like we have similar styles. I just really found that was very cute. And I just felt so seen. Like, it was so good that the story wasn't about her illness, but it was important to her, like to her story and to her identity, and it was like an important part of her. But it didn't feel like everything about her that wasn't like everything that she was. Like, she was other things too, and it was like something that was present in a lot of situations, because it is, but it didn't feel like it was all that she was about. I don't know, I really enjoyed this. I listened to it on audiobook, and like I went back and forth, even though steamy romance is not really something that I like gravitate towards very much. The chronically ill part of the story was just so special to me, so I really enjoyed that. He's so confused about the rotation of this chair. The other book that I've read physically this year is The Toll. Oh my god, this is so long. Finally finished this series. This is something I was been buddy reading with my friend Tori. Finally, the last installment. We both like enjoyed the series, but we felt like it was really strong at the beginning and then kind of like got less strong towards the end. Really slow at the beginning, and something that's kind of annoying with the series is that like new characters are introduced, and sometimes they're like, they only have a few scenes, and then there's names, and then the names are interchangeable, and sometimes it's really hard to keep up with all of the names that people have and all of the characters, and it gets a little bit confusing. This is kind of written in the style of like different points of view, so like you'll follow a little bit of this person's story, then we'll follow a little bit of that person's story, and we like go back and forth between storylines. And for a really long time the storylines were really independent and like didn't make sense together, and like I felt like the connection point would just never come. It did come, and it was like a good ending, I think. I did wish that like I got a little bit more info on some of the endings, but like overall I was satisfied with the ending, and I feel like I'm not mad at what happened. I listened to a lot of audiobooks. I also read House of Salt and Sorrows like right at the beginning of the year. I really enjoyed it. Turtles All the Way Down, I enjoyed. It was good, but more like trippy than I thought it was going to be. Like one of the characters really has a lot of problems, like I don't know if like I remember it was like a mental health thing, and a lot of the chapters were like cringy. They made me cringe because I was just like so uncomfortable in her like unwellness, I guess, but it was important to be uncomfortable because that was kind of the point, but it was kind of uncomfortable. Then I read Sky in the Deep, really enjoyed it. I think, are you looking at yourself in the viewfinder? Then I read Why Grizzly Bears Should Wear Underpants. That was like a little comic. It was pretty cute. Then I read Daughter of the Siren Queen. That was number 2, and Daughter of the Pirate King series. I also really enjoyed it. I read the first one last year, and then I finished the series this year. And I read Super Chill, A Year of Living Anxiously, also a comic. It was pretty cute also. All of these are on Scribd, by the way. Yes, I'm petting you. Then I started reading Fence, read the first installment, but I haven't continued with it. It wasn't, like, it was very short, I thought. Yeah, so then I read The Raven Boys, really enjoying the series, like, really enjoying it. The first book, I'm listening to all of them on audiobook, but, like, it's just so good. Like, I really recommend. The Girl Who Drank the Moon, that was also very sweet. It was, like, a middle grade, but it was a good book. Like, it was a sweet, lovely book. I also read A Court of Thorns and Roses, finally. I really enjoyed the first book. I started listening to the second one, but I was just like kind of lost heart. So I might continue with the series, but probably not for a while. I'm basically on the 4th book of the Raven cycle. So I'm really enjoying that. Like, it's a really good series. It's like magical and supernatural and like about friendship, and it's kind of like atmospheric and a little creepy. Yeah, so then I was going to show you the books that I'm planning on taking with me for vacation. Okay, so the first book that I'm taking with me on vacation is The Conference of the Birds. This is number 5 of Miss Peregrine's Peculiar Children. I've read all of the other ones so far. This is the only one that I own, though. Every other one I've read from the library. So I read them all in Portuguese, and this one's in English. So I hope that's not going to be like a problem for me. I'm sure I'll figure it out. I really like these books because they have like photos in them, and they're kind of like also a little bit atmospheric and a little creepy and a little like different and strange and really wonderful and magical. It's kind of middle grade, I think. And it's just like, it's such a good read. Like, it's really good. I like the time travel aspect of it. I like the kind of peculiarities that the children have. It's really like inventive, and I like that. Then I've got The Upside of Unrequited. This is from like the Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda kind of world, and I've had this for over a year, and I've never got around to reading it, so I'm finally taking it with me because it's gonna be like a contemporary, so that's normally fast reading, and it's like super floppy, so it's good to read by the pool. And last but not least, I'm taking Fangirl because of the same reasons. This is a contemporary. It's probably going to be like an easy read. I've had it for a really long time, and I have not got around to reading it. With the whole pandemic and everything, I stopped going to the library, so I stopped getting books that way. I stopped going, out to shops. So I haven't thrifted. I haven't bought new books that way, and I haven't bought a lot of books any other way because for a really long time we were really reluctant to order stuff online because we didn't really know how the post office was going to work, because up until this point people would have to like physically hand you something and you'd have to sign for it and stuff, and we were kind of scared about all of that. So I've been kind of reading what I've had. So I'm kind of low on new titles that I haven't read yet that I own. That's it. Yeah, that's everything that I wanted to talk about. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed having this cute boy here with us. And if you did, please don't forget to leave it a like and a comment, and consider subscribing to my channel if you have not done that already. It would mean a lot to me. And you can consider becoming a member on Patreon. That would help me out a lot and you get some extra content. And also, you can join the Foggy Book Club. There's no cost to that. It's totally free. And you can vote for what book we're reading and read along with us and comment on that and, you know, just have a good time together. I think that's everything that I have to say. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Stay safe out there, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! Oh, that was a good yawn.